welcome back to Club with a Chance of Sprinkles. Today we will be taking one layer of cake and turning it into a tiered cake. I use this method all the time specifically for square cakes because that's what we're going to be doing when I only need like one little cake to make cake pops or something like that. I take my extra batter from a whole batch of cake and I put it in a square pan, and then I take it and turn it into a tiered cake. It's the perfect way to practice doing square cakes because they're nice and mini at the end. So let's go ahead and get started and take this and turn it into a tiered cake. All right, so we're gonna cut this baby here, and when you cut your cakes, you do want them to be chilled. So mine was chilling in the fridge. The fridge can dry your cakes out, so make sure you wrap them, put them in a Ziploc bag, whatever you gotta do to keep them nice and fresh and moist. All right, and how did I wrap this? Here we go. So a chilled cake will be way easier to cut. So I'm gonna cut this into fours. Okay, you wanna make sure that you just use a serrated red knife. Okay, you can be super specific and like measure and whatnot, but I'm a wing it kind of girl. So here we go. Just gonna cut it in half one way, and then in half the other way. I'm just eyeballing it. And now we have 4 layers. I'm also gonna cut some off at the top so that it's a little bit more flat. Put this out so I can put it on there. Make sure your hands are nice and clean for this because you will be touching the cake. But you see how there's not like a ton of crumbs everywhere, and that is because the cake is chilled. And a chilled cake will have less crumbs all over the place. And now you have 4 layers. I tend to use about 3 of these, but these are thick. I might even use like 2 and make 2 mini square cakes. These are gonna be very small, but it's perfect because then you can eat a whole cake by yourself and not feel bad about it because it's mini. Okay, so I decided I'm going to use 2 layers. So I'm gonna get 2 little mini cakes out of this. So we're just going to crumb coat it. If you've never made a square cake before, it's totally okay. We will go over how to crumb coat it and get those sharp edges. So I'm gonna put one of my little layers down. All right, and then I'm going to cover it in buttercream. I have a strawberry cake today with a lemon buttercream, and I just feel like it's like strawberry lemonade, and it's gonna taste so amazing. So, just get a nice little plop of buttercream in there. Buttercream's a little soft. I might need to add more better sugar. All right, and then whenever you're stacking cakes, you want the top layer to be like the bottom of the cake because that's nice and flat because it was on the bottom of the cake pan. So I'm gonna flip it upside down. Make sure it's nice and lovely. All right. And then this is why it doesn't totally matter that your that your 4 pieces aren't super even, because you're just gonna fill in all the nooks and crannies with delicious buttercream. Little baby in the freezer. Okay, so now that our cake is nice and chilled, we're gonna put some buttercream on it and get those nice clean edges. I've colored my buttercream. I'm gonna be doing some neon colors, tie-dye. It's gonna be super fun, lots of Lisa Frank vibes, because that's what I'm feeling. Let's start with the darkest color. We've got some blue here. Most of the top blue. Actually, I'll go all blue, and then almost all blue, and then I'll go over it with some of my other colors later. And with square cakes, you want to really build up the edges. So make sure you have lots of buttercream on the edges, and that will really help your cake and get those crisp edges. That's what we want. So lots of buttercream is the key there. Also, when you're doing tie-dye, make sure that you wipe your spatula, scraper, all that good stuff in between colors. So now I'm gonna go in with some green, get some on the top here. Make sure you build up like the top edges too. That's super important. Okay. And those corners can be a real pain. So just the more buttercream on them, the better. You know, I thought I thickened up my buttercream enough. And I'm starting to think that I didn't. No. I'm going to take my offset spatula and then just smooth it out a little bit. I'm wiping in between every smooth that I do. It sounded funny. So just smooth, wipe. Smooth, wipe. I'm not gonna use another smooth, wipe. Smooth, wipe. Okay, and this is just before I'm gonna go in with my scraper to get it actually smooth. And then the top I'm gonna smooth out just a touch here. All right, and then I'm gonna go in with a spatula. For square cakes, if you have a hot scraper, then you're gonna be super amazing. Okay, so I just take like my blowtorch and keep it away from your buttercream and your hand, and I get it nice and warm so that it was done. Alrighty, I need this side. So that you have a nice warm little scraper, and it will pop any of like the air bubbles that you see here, and it will get nice smooth edges. Make sure if you're doing tie-dye, like wipe this in between every single wipe that you do, and it will